So we've got Scout choosing the venue set Night on the Town, while Banana Bread picks Back to the Classics. After that, we've got a ban of Modern and Aquarium, both from Night on the Town.
Well, once again, we see two bands from the same venue set. In this case, it's both on Scouts there, yeah. And that means, I guess that means we're going to start on Terrace.
Yes, that is indeed where we're going to be beginning. 3 of 6 Terrace has been the thing recently. That has been kind of the adjustment to Terrace, and it's been pretty successful having both the inspects and the fingerprints in there for completion by both Spy and AI. I think it's been a good change to the venue, and we'll get right into it. Scout's going to be spying first as Bling Twin. Bling Twin. I had to turn the camera around there.
Yeah, you always have to as Bling Twin to see the jewelry in 3, 2, 1 playing it. Yeah, so it's still an open question whether or not Terrace is viable at high levels for competitive. But if it is, this is the version probably that you want, maybe with another guest or two. But it's almost always going to be 3 of 6. I guess you could do 3 of 7. I don't see any reason not to, because everyone just turns off swap anyway, and I'm not sure how viable that is. It forces you to look at things during late activity, but any other time, probably not. Scout checks their watch at the window, and this is the prettiest window, I would think, of any venue when you look out, swing the camera around.
Terrace is just such a pretty venue. I love it so much. It's oh man.
It's gorgeous. We'll always have Terrace. We already have a seduction in 34%, and we're going to grab a drink too, for that matter.
Yes, and we do see bar highlights. I think bar highlights are more common on Terrace than any other bar venue. I think it's like the standard, I'm going to do this early in the game. Maybe I'll switch up to real contact highlights later in the game when, there are less people who could have been to bar recently. That's like a strategy I see a lot of people use. I use it myself. So we get a 69% on the second flirt here. It's a green test, a little bit of a cross conversation, but we will be within range of having that third white test if it's close. So
that's what you need, really. You want to be within that percentage so that if you stand next to them, white test, green test, doesn't really matter. You're going to win either way. And yeah, I'd say highlights for bar, very frequent here. Highlights for real contact, probably more than any other single venue too. And you don't see the standard statue highlights very often here because it's pretty unlikely for someone to go to both sets of statues. And when they do, pretty easy to remember. But every now and then you get a game where a couple people finish partial inspects, a couple get one fingerprint, there's a couple going to bar, a mix of people have a reel, and it can just be a little bit too much to track memory-wise, and in the confusion, a good spy can sneak a spy win in. That's certainly what Scout's going to be helping for, but I feel like you're at the mercy of the party more than in most other venues here.
Yeah, you can be, for sure. And we do see maybe Rocker picking up some suspicion. Had the briefcase earlier, was nearby the ambassador, was being watched very closely, now into statues. Lots of different things from our seduction target happening. But so far, not much activity other than that.
Well, here comes the contact. We're going to knock out one person because we're not counting the ambassador. The ambassador does put down the briefcase too, by the way, so there's going to be another print available. And we are switching to look at that real highlights because they already lined up so well. All those bar visitors earlier, all but one, already had a highlight. So we figured, why not? We're just going to switch.
Look at Rocker.
Real highlight contact.
She's got a second
going for another
print.
Oh, and she left right after the contact. This is really rough. We could absolutely get a sib shot here. Staring. We're thinking about it. Guarding the bug, but no shot has come off yet. Oh, look at this laser. It is hanging around Leopard there. The delegate is coming off again, by the way. Scout's going back. There's 40 seconds left. If we delegate to Rocker, I think I know what's going to happen, and Scout thinks they know too. And the person on the other side, I'm not sure who we were closer to, one or the other.
It's a fingerprintable drink.
Leaves. It's a fingerprintable drink too. There's so many ways to finish now. The seduction is done. We're one fingerprint away, but if we delegate to Rocker, we're just going to win this, I think. She leaves anyway. She goes for another print that's actually bad unless one of them was missed by Banana Bread before. That's the only circumstance under which this is any good for us.
It's going to be another difficult print on bar. It's going to be another difficult print on bar.
We're going to bar for the third time as Scout.
Rocker, what are you doing?
That's with the green. Rocker's there too. What is happening? This is absolute chaos. The only two suspects at the party are right here. It's going to be a green test to win into overtime, and this laser is over both of us. Here comes the drink. It's a green test. There's going to be 9 seconds, but
my God!
Rocker shot in the end. What was happening there in the sniper's mind? I have no way to parse it.
Wow! Scout hits 2 difficult prints, and it must have looked like Rocker was flirting with us right at the end, because Rocker, with contact and fingerprints, if you're not shooting her, you think she's not done with flirt, but she comes to bar right next to us. The
Wow.
residual suspicion just makes the decision, because we were the one who took the safety off for a moment there, right, as the overtime
But then
happened.
we thought about it. We thought,
But
what is the theory here? What is the theory if the list is still there? Are we? I don't think this person finished anything. They didn't finish fingerprint. They were nowhere near the ambassador. I think you're right. They had the laser on them maybe for a second and thought, wait, what's my mission count on this person? It doesn't make sense because it's two difficult prints, and that is too hard to be sure of.
wow, what an
It's
insane
not a
game.
bad shot from Banana Bread. In fact, it's actually kind of impressive. I once talked about a game where Turnip Boy shot a sieve on aquarium, and I said it was the kind of sieve shot only a really good sniper would make because they parsed things out and they didn't make sense, so they shot a sieve instead. But it was very understandable. They had the presence of mind to try to unpack the situation. I think that's what happened here with Banana Bread. I think this is actually, in a sense, a very educated sieve shot because the shot did not make sense there. They had to go with someone else, and Rocker was absolutely your best option otherwise, unless you want to credit those two difficult prints, and that's really tough to do. That's a really tough way to start a match on Terrace with a sniper loss like that from Banana Bread, and now they got to answer as General on Terrace 2, and swaps off again, as you'd expect, in 3, 2, 1, playing it. My voice is gone already.
Yeah, that was really just, oh my goodness. It was a good shot, which is not usually what you're talking about when you're saying a civ shot, but you're absolutely right, Track. It is just well done. I think that you're right. The momentary safety off onto Bling Twin was because oh wait, the list is gone. Oh wait, it's not gone. Hold on. I need to reconsider.
And I have time to reconsider because it happened right at the end there. So either way, I don't have to rush my shot, which is really good there. Yeah, and not just a good shot, also a good hold earlier. Remember, Rocker could have been done earlier. If you're crediting the flirt earlier, the prints are done. And that wasn't the third touch at that point. That was just the second. So holding on Leopard initially and shooting her later both made a lot of sense. Both a good hold and a good shot in a game the sniper lost. I've never said that before. We have 2 flirts in now, by the way. 20-something on the first one and a green test on the second. And looks like bar highlights are coming out there. I can't tell if it's a flirt pairing or not. Looks like the highlights are actually coming out when we take the drink is when they're happening. And look at this, our seduction target, once again, not only do they have a bar highlight, but they're going for the briefcase right afterwards.
Maybe not. This isn't. It doesn't seem to have taken the drink. I think so. Earlier, I noticed that Pearls might have done a little bit of a bug path past the ambassador on a way to bar, but we actually see a low light now.
Yep, and the seduction's done. I thought for a second we were going to have a repeat where the seduction target is just doing all sorts of soft tail missions and gets themselves shot, but instead they get themselves low lit. I'm having a little trouble unpacking the whole thought process here. Here comes a fake Banana Bread. Buns joins right during. I think that's safe to low light for, but for a sniper that can be a very difficult call because she joined just as it happened. But we have another fake here, just like the last game, and Seduce is done already with 100 seconds
But
left.
we can get a real contact now that's basically just as perfect. Only Buns would be out, but she's gonna join another conversation. So basically, everyone except for Buns is gonna have a real contact here in this party. That's
and she's the one who switched conversations, which if you have to pick something that's suspicious, when you see 2 contacts like that and one person very obviously switched conversations, even if the second's fake, that's usually someone who's going to get a lot of suspicion. She's going to go to bar right after. I think, was it after the ambassador too? Is there a print here? If there is, look out for Buns.
Yeah, for sure. We are the ambassador has stepped next to us. We're gonna resist the temptation to take this bug, I think. And it's a good decision. It's not much cover. Oh my goodness, and good decision indeed, because imminently afterwards we see a shot onto Salmon.
Yeah, Salmon got their first inspects on the other statue set at 90 seconds and then went, let me see, I think is it directly from one to the other? Yes, directly from one statue to the other late in the game, and that's all it takes sometimes. AIs don't do it much, but when they do, they're not usually long for this world. Wow, that is 1-all. 2 spy wins on Terrace.
Yeah, 2 spy wins on Terrace. Ballroom is our next venue, and we're going to have C Scout playing it as Wheels, which is a bit of a favorite of mine on Ballroom in particular. I like that a lot.
Yeah, can low behind tall characters, fair amount of occlusion, and low-key good at the microfilm too. Wheels, Scout, Ballroom, 3, 2, 1, playing it.
I feel like you're running away with this a little bit.
I'm trying to run up the score.
All right. Oh, go for that early bug, and it's actually really good. Lots and lots of cover on the angle. You'll see that the ambassador was in this conversation that's nearest to the statues, and in the conversation that's in the center here, that kind of blocks off that vision, there are three guests. And Wheels bug, not typically very good, but it's the time of chaos. There's lots of cover, and Scout saw the angle that the sniper was at and said, "You're not going to be able to see this. At best, you're going to have to credit it." And was absolutely correct. We're going straight into center statues, which I like quite a bit if that's your plan of completion. If you're going to say, I want to do bug and center inspects, do the center inspects early, because it's not going to be a trigger for them to shoot you. Now they're going to have to shoot you for just flirting and the contact. And that's
Yep.
going to be very difficult.
It is going to be difficult. We get the Vitrilka's flirt there again because our seduction target was right next to us, and the pillar, by the way, was blocking. Based on the sniper's angle, Banana Bread had the pillar between themselves and the ambassador. When the bug took, it was well nigh invisible. Inspects are done. Bug is done. Flirt is a third of the way done, and I think this just could be just a boring, easy win now for Scout if they take their time and don't get any bad luck. Now, Banana Bread is watching that statue pickup from Twin, which is really interesting. Just a little worried about the swap, which means, they are on this a little bit. It would be interesting if they can actually take the shot for that. We have gotten the second flirt off in the meantime. Our seduction target was standing across from us, though, and leaves right afterwards. So we are at 56%. It's going to be a 4 flirt unless we hit a green. That's not a great position to be in, even with 2 minutes left. You can imagine, you're probably imagining same as me right now, how do you lose this game if you're not a huge suspect? You might be a bigger suspect than the sniper's letting on, but assuming you're not, how do you lose it? And needing 2 more flirts rather than 1 is one of the ways it happens. With the seduction target going back to statues, that's another way too. If the seduction target does not cooperate, that's how an easy win goes bad.
Yeah, for sure. I'd maybe consider taking the contact while you have the opportunity. Lots of people in conversation nearby.
Yes. Lower your threshold. Absolutely.
The ambassador's actually gonna switch sides on us.
No, we don't want this at all. This is terrible. Now they're not on our drink side anymore, and we could be suspected for a bug we probably got away with. We saw that earlier today, and it's really unfortunate. But the Spy did come away with that win, albeit on Tan. We have joined with the double agent now. The Twin has decided to stand right in front of us. We're going to contact. It's going to be a white. We're going to knock out 2 statue visitors, and I think 3 people total. The Twin splits right afterwards, and they went to center statues after us too, so they could be a very big suspect, but we are 1 green flirt away from getting this. The seduction target is at another statue, though, in the meantime, and they are now low, and there's 50 seconds left, and you can see how this could fall apart now. If we get 1 more chance at a flirt and don't hit the green, suddenly we're flirting very aggressively, and we're one of 2 people with inspects potentially done. That could be rough. Seduction target goes to green shelves.
He's going to green shelves. We can force a green test here if we want to. We can force a green test by twitching. But it's a white test, and we're sipping.
It's a white test during the sip. It's 90%, 30 seconds left on the clock. We're still going to have time, though, and the book will give us a chance to break this up. But where are they going to go? If they go to some of these side pads, it could be very, very difficult. We have to get away from them. The cooldown timer has to expire, and it's not going to expire while they stay here. The book goes back in. The seduction target walks away. We've got a few more seconds. There's a spot between white dress and Twin. We can go flirt there, but there's going to be overtime now. There's going to be overtime. We enter with 7 seconds. We're probably going to talk a few seconds afterwards. We talk immediately. There's going to be 3 or 4 seconds of overtime at least, and we are talking. Are we enough of a suspect to get shot here? Here comes the overtime. Does the shot come off? It does not. 3 seconds is not enough for Banana Bread to suss out what's happening, and we do get away with that, but it was a lot closer than we thought it was going to be.
Yeah, and that's something that can be really, really scary there right at the end, especially because we're a highlight. We've been to center statues, and just as a consequence of where we're sitting in conversation, we're kind of visible. We're kind of the biggest thing on the sniper screen right now. So if the sniper's taking a semi-informed shot, it might just be us.
Or semi-panicked, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't want to be the panicked shot either, because when you hear the OT beeps, the sniper needs to shoot someone, and sometimes they'll shoot whoever's in front of them or whoever's at mission sites, maybe both. It's often both. And that's just not where you want to be. Just the fact that the laser is there and that Toby's around, even if you think the guest list is there, you only have sometimes a few seconds to make a shot. You don't want to be the easy panicked shot. We were the easy panicked shot, but it was only for a few seconds and we win anyway, and I just don't think we were suspected of that bug at all. That is another Spy win. Spies are 3 for 3 now, and Banana Bread says the best way to keep that streak going is to play Smallman on Ballroom in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, we went from what I call budget Smallman to actual Smallman.
Actual full-price Smallman. No discount Smallman here. Smallman is in the back of the venue, which means he basically doesn't exist at this point. And you got to wonder if we're setting up for some sort of reverse drive-by. There are certain spots on this. I'd say the two back conversations in the back of each one, relative to the sniper at least, where you get a lot of drive-by opportunities eventually when that AMBA goes behind you.
Yeah, and we are just going to start it off fairly slow. It's very common to get our early flirts down, and it's a white test for 34%, which means we will need 2 more. Then Brad, maybe going to timer flirt this. I'd like to see us drop in with the double agent right now because it's a very, very juicy contact.
It is, but look at this. Look at these highlights coming out. It's not just for statues, I don't think. I think I'm seeing some general flirt pairing and some other things going on. There's kind of a mix of highlights coming out from Scout here. Looks like, meanwhile, the spy just wants to timer flirt. Unless the stuck target leaves right here, as they often do after taking a drink, and no, she stays put. That's always a moment of truth. The drink take is an inflection point where the AI can choose to leave or not, and sometimes you have that little moment of truth. Are they going to leave right after the drink, yes or no? The answer is no, and as long as she doesn't leave the next few seconds, we are going to get the second flirt off, but it's going to be a 3 flirt minimum because of that early white test, and we are laying low as Smallman, not doing much.
Yeah, not much so far. 34% turns into 68%, and we've got a minute and a half gone in this game, which is about as long as you might expect. Well, it's actually twice as long as you might expect for 2 flirts, because there's only a 45-second interval between them. Here comes a bug. We attempted a bug on the way out of that conversation. It doesn't quite land, but it was very, very invisible. If we had gotten that bug, we would be cruising right now. And we're actually kind of hard to see back here. I think we're going to pick up the highlight now as the laser is resting on us, but there's some small chance that we're just not even seen at these statues at all.
Oh boy, small chances right. Let's see if this highlight comes out. It might not. We were not super visible at that statue. No highlight has happened yet, and the seduction is done in the meantime. But the inspects also did not complete. So let's hope we have the presence of mind to go to a side statue next time, instead of trying to look AI-like by going to a second
It's a
center statue.
fingerprintable drink now.
Fingerprintable drink as well, and look at this. If we are not suspected for those inspects, we are actually in really good shape here with 1 fingerprint done, seduction done, 2 inspects done. There's a lot of ways to win this game now, but we only have a minute left. The party has to cooperate at least a little bit, and we got to get moving.
Yeah, and not having that contact is real. We're stepping right in next to the ambassador, and I know we have the drink hand here, but if the sniper doesn't notice that we have a drink, it's going to be a little bit concerning as far as potential bug credits go.
The AMBA leaves to reveal it, and the spy says, yes, look at this drink. I could not have been bugging then, even though I'm Smallman. It's not possible. But also, I don't see how we finish. We're with a suspected double agent, and the real double agent is at the green shelf.
The ambassador is putting down a fingerprintable statue.
Yeah, we could go inspect, swap, fingerprint, silent game. That might be our best option here, but it's going to be late, it's going to be busy, and not that many people have gone to statues. There's Ponytail picking up the briefcase right afterwards, already as a highlight too. We're walking right by the ambassador. Are we actually going to bug on the way in? We are going to bug on the way in. I don't know if that was necessary, but it doesn't matter because Ponytail is finishing in Scout's mind, and Spies win again, this time with a little assist from the AI.
A little assist indeed. Yeah,
Jeez.
the,
What do you think about that bug choice there? Because as we were talking about, you could go inspect, swap, fingerprint, which has its own risks, but it's a silent game there, and you don't have to risk the bug.
Yeah, and this bug was actually pretty well covered up. If the sniper is a little bit further to the left, snapback is going to be a much bigger issue on that bug. But as it was, we were staring at Alice at the end, so it didn't really matter. But the angle the sniper was taking actually means that bug was pretty decent. And of course, we are Smallman, and that would have been our completion. So it's definitely reasonable to think maybe bug is better than swap here. But now we're going to be going on into pub 4 of 7. The 4 of 7 version, not 3 of 5, or not 3 of 6, like we've seen. We've seen all of these different types of pubs.
But more people to compensate. That's the big difference. It's going to be Scout, Leopard, Spies are 4 for 4. Let's see if that continues in 3, 2, 1, playing it. I gotta imagine we're going to get a sniper win on one of these two. I gotta imagine. And the snipers have not played that badly. There have been some really good spy games in here, some really suspicious AIs. Obviously, a couple of mistakes, a couple things you could have done better, but these are not just jumpy snipers taking ridiculous shots. They played pretty well, and yet they're 0 for 4. You don't see that often.
Yeah, for sure. I think that Banana Bread might want to try to catch on to this kind of trend that we've been seeing. Scout has shot AIs twice, both like very reasonably, right? These are not unreasonable AI shots. No. But if you think that maybe Scout is just shooting people who are going to be completing like that, and you can try to make someone else more suspicious than you are in the same note, frames might be a very, very strong way forward here.
That's true. Although we did see a really good hold in that first game on Terrace on Leopard, potentially completing initially, unless they noticed something we didn't, at least. So it went from patience to shooting people who could be done afterwards, and
I think
none
that
of
was
it quite
Banana
worked,
Bread's
unfortunately.
sniper. No?
Yeah. But collectively, I mean, like even that one, right? A lot of patience on that shot in particular, but
Yeah.
you do need to know, is your opponent the kind of person who might shoot anyone who completes, right? Just because Scout gets low lit, but I'm kind of wondering, whoa, there's a ton of low lights coming off.
I think
ton of low lights coming off. Do we have a no talk phantom or something?
Yeah,
or a phantom
that
time ad?
a no talk phantom would make the most sense to me right here, because the low lights just make no sense otherwise. 'Cause it's not like for going to statues or anything. It's not.
It's not inspects turned off,
Yeah.
so it's not wasting time. And a bunch of other low lights came out that seem totally unrelated. So it's either got to be no talk phantom, time ad phantom, and I think no talk makes more sense.
Here comes the
contact.
contact.
Let's see if this prompts a reevaluation of these lights decisions. That's the real question. It's a very risky thing to low light for potentially if you're not sure, and obviously we know they cannot have been sure. That's going to let off one more low light, and none of the others are being reconsidered. And the trouble here is that you've got 2.5 missions done, plus the fingerprint basically, and Banana Bread has probably no reason to think that they're not in total control of this game.
Yeah, for sure. If you are fairly confident about this, then reevaluating just, especially now, it's very difficult to reevaluate. Both in the fact that it's very difficult to come to that decision, and the fact that it's going to take a lot of just processing time to remember, okay, who was out during contact versus who did I low light for this?
Yeah, you'd be starting fresh.
Yeah.
Does that actually give you better chances at winning? Isn't it better to assume you're right at that point? What's your actual expected value? And it's not very high, I don't think. Scout has left. Meanwhile, we are going to try to finish the fingerprint right here. It's a fingerprint attempt. Yes, we're good. We're good with the briefcase. Fingerprint is done. Inspect done. Contact's done. One more close flirt's going to get it done. 50 seconds left. Our seduction target has not moved, and there's no indication that we are any kind of suspect at all. And I think we could be a highlight and probably still win here. This is probably just going to be a win for Scout. It's probably going to be another spy win, 5 for 5.
Yeah, it's a lot of spy wins in a row. You don't usually see it.
Especially not on pub.
Indeed.
Oh boy, here we go. Here's the talk. There's the seduce.
And I think this is probably the lowest stress mission win countdown we've had so far in this set.
Yeah, easily. And you got to imagine Banana Bread's going to say, wait a second, I was looking at all my highlights the whole time. What's going on? And they're going to go back and see, nope, just one of those weird little situations where there's a pause. Maybe you notice the pause just as it starts, because obviously mentally you want to assume that you came into the middle of a pause, right, when you started noticing it. So maybe you're tacking an extra second on beforehand. Maybe an AI sips at exactly the right time. Have you spotted it?
I think I know what happened here. I'm looking at this conversation when
it does look like a no talk.
It's Duke. Duke is the double agent.
He's low lit already. He's behind someone.
He's low lit behind someone.
Talking.
And
right.
So no one else is talking in this conversation, but Duke is. And so it's a phantom no talk because Duke was a low light and was kind of hidden, and that talk was just not super visible.
Wow. Not just hidden. So it's not just that. Look at that. His head kind of blends into Damon. Normally, he'd be noticeable as a low light because he'd cover up that part of the bar with all that kind of golden trim, right? It'd be much more noticeable. But he actually blends into another low light, the security guard Damon. So I think it's even less noticeable than it would normally be. And I think you're right. I think that unfortunate low light and timing, missing it out, but catching the no talk. It's a very selective way of noticing things, isn't it? And it ends up costing Banana Bread the game. Great catch there. On your part, at least.
It would have been a great catch if it was an actual no talk, but unfortunately, in this case, it was a mistake. Banana Bread now on the back foot, trying to continue the streak of spy wins to keep it even. We'll see if they can pull it off against Scout Sniper on Pub 4 of 7 in 3, 2, 1, Planet. And
you take the rest of them. I'm happy. All the rest of them are yours, and I'm just going to call it right now. I think the streak's going to end here because we'd be asking a lot for another spy win. Although this will help the seduction target right next to us at the beginning, 32% with the white test, and we're going to immediately go to bar afterwards because there's a bar rush, and we want to get in on this.
Yes, indeed, we do. Let's see how this is going to turn out because the early picking up of the delegate option is can be very strong. That's the biggest thing personally that distinguishes pub from courtyard. Because they're both as 4 of 7 venues. They're both venues where statues are very very strong because they can be completed in one visit, and there aren't many places other to be other than in, a statue or a conversation. And
Yep.
the difference is that bar purloin versus the tray purloin. And the bar purloin, I feel like, can be a lot stronger as a frame tool, as a last mission. There's a lot of ways you can use that tray purloin. Tray purloin, you can more often get away with completely clean, but it's riskier. So
Yeah, pretty hard on bar, though, for sure. Banana Bread was heading to try to get in close next to the seduction target, who was Buns, but the spot was taken in conversation. We do the conversation stopped, a little AI pause. We are not rewarded for it, though, with a low light, but Banana Bread flexing the etiquette just a little bit to see if it rewards him from Scout, but it does not. And the seduction target's moving around quite a bit, too, so we haven't had a chance to get another flirt in. The delegate timer expires. We really had no opportunity to use it. We're going to go to a statue instead. It's a statue and a fingerprint attempt.
yeah,
the fingerprint is done, and the inspect is done too, and we have a highlight for it, and we have a lot of suspicion here.
We can go right to bar here. Oh, we're gonna bug on the way through as well. I was wondering if we were gonna do that, but if we go to bar now, we're gonna have fingerprint off of this bar visit.
We're not dead yet either. This is a really big deal. Could spies go 6 for 6? Here comes the print. There's no reason to shoot yet, even if you suspect the bug. But if we're not shot in the next few seconds, suddenly we go from a big underdog. Fingerprints done. 2 more flirts will get it done with 90 seconds left, but that can be treacherous on pub. And our seduction target is
we break animation
alone in the conversation out front. It's the most visible thing possible, and we stick around afterwards too. We violate etiquette twice. Double Agent finally joins with us. Do we just want to contact rather than flirt? Which is riskier at this point? We have no idea, probably, what kind of suspect we are. There's no way to know what suspicion the sniper's putting on us. The seduction target does not come into our conversation. That might help us decide, but no, we're still going to chase them. But even if we timer flirt, this is going to be so close. I don't know if this is the right call or not, but we're going to go into the back of the conversation here. We're going to have to talk very, very quickly because the timer will take 45 seconds after we're done. There's the white test, 67%. If the seduction target leaves,
Ambassador,
this game could fall apart. Ambassador, go away, although you might want the backup plan, because if Boots leaves right before that timer goes off, the whole game is going to fall apart real quick because you will not have any time to catch her, even as a fast character like Taft. We're going to leave. We're going to leave and come back because we don't want to wait around for this. We want to give ourselves a little bit more margin. Let's see if we wait for a full idle this time.
Oh, no.
Flirt cooldown timer. We do not. We do the exact same thing, and the seduction target does leave, though.
She joins us! She joins us!
Here comes the white test. I think we're going to win this. Spies are going to win again on pub. Absolutely crazy.
A really nice bug makes that possible, and you were asking if contact was riskier, and it is if you're only considering whether or not you're going to get shot. But when you're up against both the sniper and the clock, you have to determine which one is more likely to lose you the game, and Banana Bread makes a decision that Seduce was better. And yes, typically you're going to want to do Seduce with that much time left on the clock, and just gets a really, really nice gift from the AI there, coming right in next to us, and gives us that final flirt to just keep the spy wins rolling.
Yeah, pretty good spy game all told, but does get that little bit of luck at the end. I don't know if they needed it or not, and we would have said bad luck if the opposite had happened, obviously. So it was very either or. Either the spy was going to get maybe a little lucky or very, very unlucky. Either way, Banana Bread seems to have gotten that fingerprint off clean, and obviously the bug too. And the bug does look very good on the sniper side. Spies 6 for 6, and it's not because the snipers have been bad either. This has been spies flexing on each other and snipers not quite countering them, but it's still tied up. They both get to reset now at Courtyard. Scout first, tied at 3, playing his white dress in 3, 2, 1, playing it. That was absolutely crazy. The question is, I don't know enough about the underlying code to know whether or not that meant the seduction target was always going to leave, in which case we would have been losing our minds, I think, just as much.
Yeah, seduction target joining us a little bit early on in this game, 34% flirt. I'd like it if we just left this conversation, because this is time of chaos on Courtyard. Snipers doing
You do like those
things.
aggressive flirts, don't you? You like the flirt bail and flirt again early on.
Yeah, I mean, why not, right? In this case, there are a bunch of people at statues. Snipers memorizing statues. We go for the bug on the way out, but I don't think it's.
There's the hand.
I think it's been seen.
I think this is it. We've got a sniper win. There it is. There it is. It's a reasonable attempt, but the hand was just really visible. Banana Bread's all over it, and oh my God, snipers have won a game. 4-3 Banana Bread.
Yeah, and this was actually pretty good because Scout correctly waits a moment to start this bug, because I
Yes.
I have done this so many times where I want to do this bug and I trigger it as I leave conversation, and instead it's the hand that's not being blocked into the ambassador at all. It's this
Right.
hand that's just sticking out in the middle of nowhere, and it's super obvious. And Scout performs this correctly. Maybe should have curved around the ambassador here to keep the hand in longer. You're gonna get credited that way, but at least you're not gonna get immediately shot, because we are going to statues anyways, right? Just a tighter curve here, I think, makes the a little bit more
Into the left statue,
Yeah.
yeah. You have an excuse for if that's the statue you're headed for. I think you're right. This bug could have been a little bit better, but I also feel like Banana Bread watching it very closely at that point, and
Yeah, for sure.
when you go to statues right afterwards, that's pretty rough. So it might have been a sniper win either way, but just made it easier for them, and it's not been easy up to this point. So Banana Bread first to finally break through with the rifle. Now is Seek. I lied earlier. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, what is this?
I took the previous one. You didn't even seem to notice. Banana Bread now going to Windows is Seek right away. And let's see. Yep, a selection target is, look at that. No one on either side. That's what you like to see at the beginning of the courtyard game. And if they're not flirt pairing you, why not? And looks like they're not. We're going to wait the standard 2 to 3 seconds and get a white test, 34%. And now we're playing with a little bit of lead now. And if Banana Bread wins this game, the match is probably going to follow right behind it.
Yeah, and despite the fact that this, has been a spy fest so far, this is still Courtyard. It is still Courtyard Spy. The odds of winning it are not the best. If the sniper is on top of their game, which Banana Bread was last time around, Scout. Wow, this. Have you ever seen a contact this early that has been that good?
Not often. Canadian Bacon, I think I've seen him do it a few times. If he gets an early one, there's an attempt. Oh, that is a really good reverse drive-by. The hand snaps back at the very end, but Banana Bread talks right afterwards to try to cover for it. I don't think we had quite the right angle. We either saw the hand snap back or we didn't, but the hand snap back was probably the only visible part of that bug because it was timed pretty well with the idle, and we were completely to the side of the sniper.
Yeah, really. I mean, that bug is risky, right? Because it's very, very easy to see at a certain angle, and we do cop
Get a
the highlight.
Yeah, right after the talk in that new conversation. I don't know if that's for a flirt pair or a late bug highlight. I'm not sure which is worse.
No!
It can't have been for the bug then, because look at this. This is a shot onto Walt. Banana Bread cashes in the sniper win with a spy win 2 on Courtyard. 5 to 3. Let's try to figure out why this AI got shot.
Yeah, I'm
Watched by the
looking
ambassador.
around. Disney, where you...
Briefcase return.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, yeah, briefcase return here. Perhaps suspecting a bug.
Oh, and
on...
print. No, there was a print on that.
Oh, there's a
statue
print on that
too.
statue? Oh my
Yep,
goodness.
That is 2 prints for Disney. I think this is Scout once again being on top of things, except for missing the bug, of course. But except for missing the bug, this is an AI finishing on Courtyard with over a minute and a half left.
with a minute and 45 left.
That doesn't happen.
That's so unfortunate.
That's terrible. That almost never happens. And now Scout's probably thinking, I'm playing really well here. What's going on?
Yeah,
what on earth is going on?
She's playing real well. I mean, like, Banana Bread is also playing just some knockout games here. But wow, that is 2 times now that an AI has been shot completely reasonably.
Yeah, completely reasonably. Better lucky than good, I always say. And Banana Bread so far has been both, while Scout has been just good. And they're going to have to be really, really good now on Library. They're down 5 to 3, and there's really no more margin. And you got to hope your opponents used up their luck too, although, again, both have played really, really well. But those little differences in the party are kind of what these marginal matches turn on when both players show up and both players play well, which has been the case. Scout on Library as general. 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, here we go. Scout needs every win from
Immediate
here.
white
Oh,
purloin.
I
on
don't.
screen. Both of these missions are right next to each other. We walk away, though, and I'm not sure the drink was seen. Are any lowlights going to come off? Are we suspected? We're walking away. If we gulp this thing, we're going to be okay. We're going to try to throw some chaff in the air with a contact and then leave immediately. We are still moving. That was actually really, really good with the green. And if we get rid of this drink right here, we have not been low-lit yet, but we have been high-lit. I don't think this has been noticed. We only sip. No. Okay, well, the nice thing is the sniper doesn't seem to have noticed that either, but I think if we gulp, we would have been in better shape. We're going to go over and try to seduce in the meantime, and this might turn into a rush without the gulp.
Yeah, the problem is sipping. If the sniper ever notices that you have sipped and you
Yes.
still have that drink, they know you've taken a drink from Toby.
Yes, I think that's a mistake there. I think at that point you gulp or you hang on to the drink for a very, very long time without sipping at all because it was so early. There's almost no chance they're going to believe a green. The only saving grace is that they weren't expecting the purloin at all, and why would they? The ambassador was right there next to you. It was a very risky time. That was a, if I green this, I'm in good shape, but if I white, I'm probably dead. But it turns out we maybe get away with the white too. And here's the question: if you're scout, you don't know how suspicious you are. You don't know if, and even us, the casters, knowing how suspicious they may or may not be, it's not entirely clear if you should try to finish missions here.
Yeah, we have a bunch of highlights on the left side of the venue where that purloin was noticed.
Yes.
So it was good that we ran away from that. 85% now on the flirt with a
Watch out for
green
Buns
test.
too.
Yeah.
She's been to statues. She's been walking by the ambassador, and she's probably a suspect for the purloin. I think our best chance of winning here might be not to finish.
Yeah, and look at this. Someone brought back up from a low light here. Maybe a little bit of uncertainty on Banana Bread's side. We're going to try to finish off this flirt, and if we're doing this kind of aggressive flirt move, I would be really interested in seeing a really early inspect swap to complete. Scout, just flirt, break away right into statues, and you're completing at 2 minutes 25 seconds. Yes, it's a bit risky.
No,
Here
they're
it
eyeing
comes,
it up.
though.
They're eyeing it up. If they go to center statues, this has got to be it. And Buns is at the other set of statues, and the ambassador.
Look at how much attention is paid to the left side.
We're staring at Buns. As long as they don't get a good look at this fade, I think we're going to be fine. Here it comes. We're holding the statue up. We pick up a highlight. The inspects are finally done. Are we going to swap?
It's a white swap.
It's a white. We're going to put it down, but we're not being watched. Buns is being watched. Ambassador's being watched. 5 seconds.
It's never on screen.
Haven't noticed. Scout has the win. What a comeback for Scout. Needed a spy win so badly and did it with a risky purloin that the sniper was not guarding. I think that's their first major sniper mistake of the match.
Yeah, wow. And that's what's so difficult about this early inspect swap. You see how this is happening over here. There's so much activity over on this left side of the venue. Buns, who you mentioned, is a high suspect at statues. The ambassadors over there. A lot of highlights cluster on this left side. Scout taking advantage of that and advantage of the fact that it's not yet time for the sniper's natural end game instincts where they're looking at anyone at statues for swaps, right? They're not looking at you for swaps. They're just gonna say, "Oh, they've got center statues now. Cool."
I'll keep an eye on them, right? I'll
Exactly.
keep an eye on them from here on out. No, you're right, and not just that. Let's talk about a little AI luck on the other side too. We purloin on the left side of the venue, and we head to the right. On our way to the right, we are able to enter in contact because the double agent was not just on that side of the venue, but was in a conversation and stayed there long enough for us to contact. So that's helpful. And then we keep going and we end up with our seduction target who stays on that side of the venue the entire time. So after purloining on the left, we are able to do all the rest of our missions either on the right or on our way to the right. That is a little bit of luck there too. And Scout pounces all over that opportunity, gets a little AI luck of their own, but makes the absolute most of it. Banana Bread, with the unforced error of missing the purloin, hands Scout the win. What a comeback there.
Yeah, but now we go into the second half of Library, and Scout's going to have to do something that she hasn't quite managed to do yet this set.
With a sniper
With a sniper game. It is Library, though. It is Library. We have Banana
It is
Bread.
Library, right. And that was a great example, right? Because obviously some things lined up really well for Scout after the purloin, but things weren't able to line up enough. They still needed the luck of the sniper misses the obvious thing, right? And that's why Library is different. That's why if Scout plays this Library game like they played the other ones, it's very unlikely the party is going to lose you the game anyway, because you have a whole other mission to kind of bail you out there. As long as you don't hand them an easy purloin or a free bug or something like that, if you play well, you're usually going to win, and that's what Scout's got to be counting on now. It's going to be Banana Bread playing his teal on Library. Scout with a chance to tie in 3, 2, 1. Playing it. I think if you're Scout, you got to keep your head down, keep playing well, and just understand that it's really unlikely that the AI is going to win a Library game for someone.
Yeah, for sure. But Banana Bread going to go straight into this idea that Scout has been shooting civs a lot recently, for good reason, of course.
Ooh.
But if you're going to give the civs extra time...
Yeah, yep. It's a white time ad immediately, but we go to an empty conversation. Okay, 2 things to note here. We go to an empty conversation near the back time ad window, which I don't think is what you want to do if you're trying to get away with the time ad, especially if it's a white. So a bit of a mistake there. Also, Banana Bread enters and sips early in the idle again.
What?
Low lit. We're going to come back to this in a second. 1 second. Banana Bread did the early sip again. I think Banana Bread may be just a little mistaken on when that's supposed to occur because we've seen it 3 different times, twice in the pub game and once here, but they haven't been shot for it. Instead, they've been low lit. I guess maybe they like the path, or maybe they just decided this is the one person I'm sure didn't time ad. But I'm guessing it's the former because I don't think the time ad's been noticed. I think we would have seen more low lights come out.
Yeah, for sure. If you notice a timeout early in the game, what usually the response is load letting people who you were tracking at mission sites early on, because you know they weren't at windows. Even if you don't know who was at windows, you can say, okay, these people definitely weren't at windows because they were at these statues, right? 17% on the flirt. We are low light. I'm sure that we can't know this, but Banana Bread might be going for another spy win here with this low light.
Yeah, that would be a really heartbreaking way to lose it for Scout, certainly. Take that little soft low light early in the game, and it turns out it's the spy who's already added time, but hasn't caught them on these idles either. For those who don't know, when the AI enters an empty conversation, they will wait for one full idle, and most of the time sip the drink afterwards, but we are seeing sips in the middle of these idles, so that's going to be something that Banana Bread's going to have to shore up as they advance throughout this tournament, because I can't imagine too many other opponents are going to let them get away with it. And frankly, I think Scout probably knows better too, but there's just a lot to track on Library, unfortunately, and as we can see, really like their path or something like that. I don't think it's the time ad, though. That's just my best guess. The flirt is now up to 68%, and let's see if this book goes back into blue, but as a low light, I think we could dump it anywhere and probably be fine. There's still 3.5 minutes left because of that early time ad.
Yeah, plenty of time. That's one of the biggest concerns that you have as a caster when you see the spy as a low light is, will they actually end up completing their missions on time? And in this case, I'm not too concerned. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's the flirt. The flirt is already done. We're holding the book, and it sure feels like it's not going back in blue at this point. We can't know we're low lit, I don't think, as you said, though.
Yeah,
so we're still going to be cautious. We're not going to go YOLO here and start jamming books in and running around and crash bugging and doing all these crazy things. We're probably still going to be pretty cautious, I think, because we can't know it.
I don't know. Have you seen my spy track?
Yeah, we're idling a fair bit. We definitely are not acting like we know we're low lit. We're acting like we know what we want to do next, and it hasn't lined up. It looks like we want to contact into book dump or something like that, or we want to bug into book dump, and the party's not lining up. And again, if you're going to time ad like that, isn't the whole idea, yeah, like you said earlier, you want AIs to maybe soft-tail complete some of these missions and prompt a shot, because you've shown a lot of mission progress so far, so this would be the game to cash it in. But this really just has the feeling of Banana Bread has an idea of what order they want to do things in, and the party is not allowing for it, and so they're just standing there. I've been there before myself. We finally leave. Is it going to go into green? We are. Blue plus green equals teal, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's... Yeah.
That's how colors work. Banana Bread taking their time with this. Here goes the book. This is going to be the second mission done, but it's our first hardtail, and we are low lit, and there's 2 minutes left. We're in pretty good shape. We might not know it, though. Let's see if we're going to join with our double agent here. She's available in the far conversation. I think we were obligated to take that briefcase, but we don't, and we're low lit, so who cares? It's just going to be a contact. I don't think we're going to mess around too much because Banana Bread has been full steam ahead, except for that weird little idle in the middle of the game.
Yeah, Banana Bread has Banana Bread. Oh, it's a cough!
Oh,
it's a cough on screen!
We tried to bail, and we bug on the way out after the red test. I think we just left early. I think we were trying to split into bug. We were worried the ambassador was going to leave, but we split too early. It's a cough, but no one has been brought back up for it, so I think it might help more than it hurts, especially with the bug done in the wake of it. 80 seconds left, 2 missions left. We still don't have the real contact. We don't have inspects, and inspects are a bit of a crucible because that would be an excuse to bring a low light back if ever there was.
I'm concerned now.
Okay.
Remember how I wasn't concerned?
They're a suspect. Yep, because now Banana Bread has even more reason to think they're a suspect. They don't know they're low lit. They probably think they're top suspect after a cough into a bug, but they're not. 50 seconds left. You still need to contact. The double agent's still there. Are we going to go back and contact, or are we going to go statues first? What's it going to be? It's going to be double agent first. We return to the scene of the crime. We're going to try it again, maybe. If we can split into statues, we're still in pretty good shape, but we will be inspecting at the end of a game, and even as a low light, that's pretty bad. Here comes the contact. It's white. 30 seconds left. The beeping at the same time we hear the banana.
No! The DA left!
They leave right afterwards! This is how it falls apart. You need another time ad, but the beep beeps have already started. You gotta do it right now. Banana Bread understands that, but it's another white test. Is this gonna bring them back up?
Oh my god, the shot comes off!
White dress gets shot at the same time. The low light was always gonna win the game, as it turns out. What a panic that must have been from the spy when they saw the DA bail.
Oh no.
Oh, 6-4.
That's so brutal.
Unfortunate. So brutal. And I gotta imagine that when that result screen pops up, Banana Bread says, "Really? I was low lit. I was not in nearly as much trouble as I thought I was."
And I need to go check something on the results of the other game really quickly, because
Yeah, please. 6-4 Banana Bread. While you're checking there, that's 6-4 Banana Bread. And I think the funny thing is we saw, 2 spy wins here on Library, which is pretty weird. But more to the point, we saw 2 significant sniper errors for the first time this game, and Spies took advantage of both of them. Spies were winning games before when snipers weren't making many mistakes, so it's no big surprise that when each sniper makes a significant error in the beginning of a Library game, both Spies end up cashing it.
yeah, for sure. And that is actually going to put Banana Bread through. The draw actually does win them the first place in the group, because they actually got one more game win than Scout on their other 2 matches. Scout, they both beat Corvus Morlori 7-5. They both beat they both beat Human Kirby, but Scout won that 7-5. Banana Bread won that 8-4.
Wow. Well, let's see if it would have mattered.
Yeah, let's. I want to see if the tiebreaks actually matter. We'll see if Banana Bread can close it out an actual win, or if this is a draw that's going to end in a Banana Bread victory over the group.
You count us in. You get the last one.
All right. We're going to be going into Veranda, another teal game. Scout may be trying to replicate that same victory, that same kind of success that Banana Bread had in 3, 2, 1, playing it. And maybe it's not the last one. Maybe Scout wins both.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. But they certainly, as you point out, already lose the tiebreakers. They do come up sometimes, and let's see if they mattered here. They usually don't. But I do like making people play it out anyway. I think it's fun. You get to see who was really dominant, certainly in the group stages. Sometimes you get people going 10-2, 11-1, and it sort of creates a little narrative going into the knockout stage, which, again, both players are going to here. That's what they're playing for. They're playing for first in the group, undefeated in the group, but not for advancement. That is Scout stopping outside a conversation circle, missing a pad, and joining right afterwards, but I'm not sure it's noticed.
Look at this party.
Right after.
This is a gross party. I hate this party.
There's nobody on the right side of the venue.
And
I think that half of Veranda is being fumigated or something. Look at this. The ambassador, though, the absent-minded ambassador says, "I don't care."
Okay, now I love this party suddenly.
The ambassador's all alone on an empty side of Veranda. You're loving this. The bug, totally impossible.
Yeah, I hated this for a second because it's a completely crowded Veranda left side with the ambassador over there. But then the ambassador was like, yeah, let me just go over to this completely empty area where there's no threat at all. Suddenly, the party is a lot more easy to deal with. And we have that contact. It's actually a fake, but it's going to look like the sniper. It's a real. It has to be green, right?
Yeah, so normally on Veranda, we talk about how significant it is to either Purloin or Bug while the other mission is on the other side of the venue, right? You wait until this attention is split. In this case, the Purloin was on one side and the Ambassador was on the other, but they were all alone, so you could basically ignore them. The attention was not split at all, and the Ambassador still alone, pretty much over on that side. There's a cast member, that's all. The Ambassador not very buggable this game. Scout, it doesn't even matter. Scene putting the book in the wrong shelf. The tiebreaker does not matter. Both snipers are on their game. The AIs are unkind to Scout, and then both snipers messing up a bit on Library. But at that point, that favors the person who's already in the lead, and that is Banana Bread, who goes 3-0 in groups and will advance to the knockout stage with the number 1 seed. Yeah,
and just to say, Scout did actually win a sniper game in the end. The last game of this set came around 7-5. Scout won the sniper.
I like that. That's like a title card at the end of the movie. It just tells you what happened to one of the main characters. But you know what? The movie's gone on long enough, so we can't possibly show it to you. You're just going to get the text on the screen. That's what happened. Scout did go on to win a sniper game, and that makes me feel a little bit better. It also makes me feel a little bit better to know that these players who both played very well are both going to advance, because you can see the skill evident in this match. They both belong in that bracket.
Yeah, absolutely. Very impressive set from both of these players, honestly. That was very high-level play.
Yeah, very high-level play. Scary stuff. Look out, either one of you. I kind of want to see how they react to this, because I think both of them are going to look back at some of these replays and think, okay, definitely some room for improvement, even though I played pretty well overall, especially when you're giving away sniper games on big venues like Library. But very impressive stuff.